All right. Ready?
Sure.
I haven't really told Jackie what we're doing with this video. So yesterday, I went on our Facebook and Instagram and YouTube accounts, and I put posts up at each one. And I said, hey, ask us anything. We're going to do a Q&A on YouTube. You guys asked questions, and I've screenshotted those questions. I've got them in my phone here. And Jackie and I are just going to go through, and we're going to answer them. So question number one, this was from Tuna Town on YouTube. And they said, do you keep receipts for the items you purchase for your farm? Does it help you at a state or federal level to be a small farm? So kind of two questions there. The first thing is we do keep our receipts, or I try to.
Yes. It's usually a, did you grab those receipts out of my pants type of scenario, but we do, more so this year than years past, keep the receipts for the pigs. Actually, we should clarify. We actually don't keep receipts for the chickens and such.
I mean, I try to keep them. That's why I leave them on my pants. I don't know if you grab them out. If you see like I bought chicken feed.
If it has chicken feed on it, I'll leave it out. But mostly we're more diligent about during pig season than any other time. Yeah,
the long and the short of it is that for the year, I mean, most of the farm income is from the pigs and the meat birds. By and large, those two, the pigs and the meat birds are our biggest. So for those, we're pretty diligent about keeping receipts. In regards to whether or not being a small farm helps us on a state or federal level, New Hampshire is actually great. We don't have a state income tax here in New Hampshire. So the income that we see on the pigs and meat birds and other farm items, it doesn't matter in New Hampshire. It's income, and we're not taxed on it at a state level. On a federal level, we do need to report that income because it's over, I think, $600 is the official. We have an accountant that we work with who kind of does all that stuff for us. So we do report that income. We are taxed on that income as individuals. We don't have an LLC set up for the homestead yet. That is something that we were supposed to do in 2020, but 2020 happened, and it just kind of
on the books for 2021.
It got away from us. It's going to be happening in 2021. We've already spoken to our insurance provider about taking out an insurance policy and all sorts of other stuff. So as of right now, there's no special benefit to being a small farm for us. It's just taxed as regular income, as if we'd done freelance work on the side. Andrew from Outpost 603 on Instagram says, what are your most favorite and least favorite things about homesteading?
I would say most favorite is having self-sufficiency with our eggs and our meat. I think that's pretty special. I mean, it's a lot of hard work to have a homestead, especially in the winter months here in New Hampshire. So I think that makes it most worth it in my eyes, especially having a little one and knowing where her food's coming from. My least favorite is doing the work when I'm super tired and have just had a crazy day at my regular job. And then splitting up the chores. Like, did you do that? Oh, here comes our cat Moose. Did you do the chickens, or did you, feed the pigs? Or I think that's my least favorite, is when it becomes when it doesn't feel like homesteading and fun, where it is usually, but when it feels like the chore.
I guess I'll piggyback off that. The days where I come home from work and have to do homestead chores, whether it's fixing something that the pigs have broken, or setting a fence, or making sure, in the case of the meat birds, we fill their waters twice a day. So coming home and it's 7 o'clock at night and making sure their waters are filled. Oh my gosh, he's just going to keep pestering.
Here comes the cat.
Yep.
Oh, no, he's going to be the cameraman. All right, he is...
Do not knock that camera over.
He's currently, right over here.
So for me, that's the worst, is when you're just tired from other stuff and you've got to come home and do homesteading chores. I guess to wrap this question up on a positive note, what's my favorite part about homesteading I mean, the food that we produce is a big part of it. You know, the garden, the veggies from the garden, and you can't be doing that because the mic is gonna pick you up.
No, he's wheezing.
He's snoring, kind of like wheezing.
No, he has mild asthma.
He's like an asthma cat. All right, we're gonna move. I'm gonna move him gently, and I'm gonna shut off the dishwasher because that's going to. Anyway, so the food is a big part of it. Obviously, I like to eat. I think one of my other favorite parts about homesteading is just the community of homesteaders that we've kind of met, whether it's through Facebook or Instagram or even locally. You know, we've talked to a bunch of people locally that are doing similar stuff to us, and that's been pretty cool. Is just the friends that we've made kind of in this community. I don't know. I'm a social person.
Yeah, you are. I'm more to myself, and he's more social, so we balance each other out.
Yeah. I'm the one that's like, hey, people, come on over. We're going to be butchering pigs or slaughtering chickens. And you're the one that's like, wait, you just invited a bunch of people from the internet over to our house to butcher pigs? Mm-hmm. And then I kind of say,
and he doesn't tell me about it until it's already done. So it's a you know, ask for forgiveness, not permission type of a thing.
It's because you're such a forgiving person.
Yes, I am.
All right, this next question is from Catherine on Facebook. And she says, if you were to start it all over again, knowing what you know now, would you change the placement of anything or make something a higher priority than it was? Is your long-term goal still there, or have you scrapped it and changed your path? So I guess we'll look at this in kind of the two separate parts. Would we change the placement of everything or make something a higher priority than it is?
I think the first thing that comes to mind is our egg layers. I think that was our first thing that we ever did, and we put them close to our house. They're right behind our garage, right outside our back door, which in the beginning we were like, oh, this will be great. It's right here. You could just jump outside, grab the eggs, bring them in. But this was before family and baby and chicken poo all over your yard when you have a little one is not the greatest until they're older and they know to avoid. I think personally we would have chosen a different place for the egg layers. That is in our plan now. They're going to go where the pigs were this year in the springtime. But I think losing a large portion of our backyard was not something we saw coming, because we initially had free-ranged them. So they weren't gated in. It didn't take a huge part of our backyard. But then we realized, oh crap, we have this free-ranging chickens, and we have 2 dogs, and we have a wonderful fenced-in backyard, and now we can't use it.
Yeah, I agree with that. When we got the chickens, we didn't have that many, and we stuck them close to the house because we thought it would be great to get eggs. It's easy to manage snow.
We thought we were going to leave them in that run that we made. We weren't going to let them out, remember?
Yeah, we had like a 4-foot by 10-foot run that we made for them, in addition to the chicken coop. And we had, 10 chickens initially? 10 or 11? We had 11.
Yeah, something like that.
We had 10 hens and 1 rooster. Winston was the original rooster.
Yeah, and then when I was pregnant and I saw the baby chicks at the feed store, we brought home the 4 additional ones. So we had a total of 15 total chickens.
We got 7. We had 4 plus 7. We bought 4, and we got the 7 from the 7 started pullets.
Okay. I thought we had more pullets.
No, we had 4 chicks that we raised, and then we bought 7 started pullets, and they were all kind of the same age.
Okay. No, I'm thinking then we adopted the
6. The 3 Buff Orpingtons, the 2 Barred Rocks, and the Polish, which...
2 Polishes.
That's right. 1
we
Polish.
Lost one.
Yeah, 1 Polish got killed. Polishes are not the brightest bulbs in the bunch.
No, we call them our Dumb and Dumber chickens.
Yeah, we used to call them.
We love them, though.
We called
one.
them Dumb and Dumber. Now it's just dumb. I would add that the pigs have never really been in an ideal spot. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we are forest pasturing our pigs. We're letting them out there into the woods. We're letting them forage for their own feed for a better part of the fall. And while that's great, it doesn't make it easy to get them. There's no road back there. There's no trail back there. Yeah. We can't bring the tractor back in there, really. We're working on getting to a point where we can construct that, but the pigs were part of that operation. We're using them to help make the land more accessible. So I don't know if it's something we can necessarily change, but it is something that maybe I would have gone in with a chainsaw and built a road to them beforehand. But you know, at this point, it's, you know, we're going to be doing some logging back there this winter. Fingers crossed. We're still kind of up in the air on that. We have a couple plans in place. It's just whether or not that all happens. And then the pigs, there'll be a wide open road. You could drive a truck back there.
Yeah, it'll be easier to bring the tractor back for... I remember on one of our more recent YouTube videos, someone was like, why aren't you using the tractor to bring the feed back there, right? Because you always haul it over your shoulder, and we just can't get back there with a tractor. So I think it's going to be a huge benefit to us in our future pig springs.
So the second part of the question is, your long-term goal still there, or have you scrapped it and changed your path? I think the long-term goal is still there. I mean, our plan was always to use the land to raise our vegetables. We're on that same path. We haven't talked a lot about it, but the eventual plan is to move the garden to the front of the house alongside the driveway and have the back area be a little bit more open, a little bit more pasture-like, a lot of grass, a lot of area for Emma to kind of go out and play. If we want to bring in ruminants like not cows, probably not cows ever, but sheep or goats or...
I would love a cow, but we don't have the property.
Yeah, we just don't have the land for a cow. We'll never have the land for the cow. Our property is not going to be good enough to raise the type of pasture we would need to make a cow economical. Feeding a cow hay, you know, you can do it, but it doesn't make sense for us. But eventually sheep or goats in the future, having that kind of silvopasture out back, that's what we're still working towards and what we're going for. So I hope that answered your question, Catherine. The next question is from Adam, Adam, you're awesome. You're always talking to us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. It's pretty cool. I love seeing your comments. Adam asks, do you guys have plans to put solar to be more energy efficient? And how big will your... This is kind of... He's got a bunch of questions in here, and we'll answer them kind of one by one, but they're all really good questions.
Why don't we just start with the first one?
Yeah. Do you have plans to put solar to be more energy efficient? In a nutshell, no. As of right now, where we live on our property, it's very wooded. There's not a lot of open area. Our house is not necessarily set up in the best orientation, kind of geographically north, south, east, west, to get solar. If we were to put panels on the roof, we've kind of looked into it in the past. Eventually, when we clear the land to the side of the driveway, that does have a fairly southern exposure where we could put solar panels if we wanted. But in all honesty, we've made our house as energy efficient as we can. It's insulated extremely well, so it doesn't take a lot to heat in the winter. We use LED bulbs everywhere in the house, even these Edison bulbs that you can see. I think they're reflected in the mirror behind me. Any bulb you see in the house is an LED bulb, so it's very low energy cost.
And I think also with the age of our house, we're probably going to want to put that money into things like new windows and siding and a roof versus solar panels, because that would also make our house much more energy efficient. We actually have quite a few neighbors on this road where we live that have done solar panels, so we have a lot of really good information on it, and you know, it is definitely attractive to us, but I don't think it's in our cards anytime soon. Yeah,
our electric bill, I mean, is so minuscule as it is month to month that the initial upfront cost of solar panels, with a lot of those rebates and tax credits expiring as well, it would take a long time to kind of pay off what we were looking for. All right, second part of Adam's question. How big will your pig operation get to? The answer to this question might vary depending which one of us you talk to. I had tentative plans for up to 12 pigs next year, based on... Oh, hey, Finn.
This is my dog, Finn.
Put the number 12 pigs kind of in my head based on the logging we were going to do this winter and the area that we would have available for raising pigs, to dedicate that land to pigs and not really have it be anything else. And that was a number that I had kind of kicked around and worked with for most of the summer. And then fall set in, and we were building pig shelters, or I was building pig shelters in the snow.
Slammed in the face with trees.
Getting whacked in the face with trees. Put a link to that video up in the corner so you can go watch it. And I'd pared that back a little bit in my head, and the new number, although it doesn't seem much different, is around 10 for next year. 10?
6.
We're not sure how big the pig operation is going to get. We know next year it will be somewhere
definitely 6.
Between 6 and 10.
Although we had a conversation during pig butchering this year with our butcher saying how, and you, may I quote, and I had lots of witnesses there, that you said, I think we'll do 6 again. 6 feels like just enough. And Dan was like, yeah, 6 is about right for the home pig operation. So you said you wanted to do 6.
But you can't necessarily trust what one says when you're butchering pigs.
Why? Because you're exhausted and it's a lot of work and you're like, crap, why did I do this?
Yeah, but then as soon as that bacon hits the freezer...
I don't feel that way on pig butchering day.
Well, because you're inside most of the day.
Yeah.
Adam, I think it's safe to say next year's pig crop will be between 6 and 10. From there, who knows? And the last part of Adam's question, would you ever barter for beef with pigs?
Yeah.
Are you sell it? Do you raise beef? Do you raise cows?
That was my first question when he read those to me.
Yeah. So, yes.
We love beef in this family.
Yeah, like we raise pigs, but I mean, I like pork a lot. I like all the cool things you can do with pork. I like the charcuterie side of pork. I like smoking, curing, all that stuff. Jackie is a beef eater, primarily. Like, put any pork chop next to any steak in the world. You know, best pork chop you've ever seen, best steak you've ever seen. And Jackie's probably going to pick the steak. Mm-hmm. So, up until now, we've been buying beef.
Well, we did it locally. I guess it was 2 years ago we bought half a cow, and that was great and all. But then... you know, we got a decent price from somebody local, but then ever since to get a higher, product and more meat, it's really, I mean, it's a financial, huge financial piece. So bartering is always in the cards. Yeah, for the amount of money that it would cost that we'd have to lay out to buy a side of the beef that we want to eat. Right. It's a substantial financial burden. I mean, it would be virtually all the profit from selling pigs, so right. For us, if there was a situation where a beef farmer came to us or somebody who raised beef said, hey, I want to trade 200 pounds of beef for 200 pounds of pork, that's a trade we would make in an instant. If you're offering, I'll even drive down to wherever you are. I think you're somewhere down in the Mid-Atlantic area. I'll drive down, I'll make it worth your while if you know somebody, so that'd be great. All right, this is Connor from Instagram, and Connor asked, what's the most difficult part of raising pigs? It's not that hard. Yeah, that's what I was like, it feels like it's kind of well, I guess the hardest part if you're raising them for meat, for me, is slaughter day. I mean, we really do not get attached to our pigs. We don't name them, like they're just the pigs. I mean, we love them, we care for them, we give them table scraps, we treat them very well, of course, because they're we're growing our food, but we really try to not to get attached to them. But no matter how unattached you stay, I mean, you're human. So I think that's the hardest part, because taking care of them and watching them grow and watching them, like, figuring out, like, their personalities and what foods they do like and don't like. Like, last year's pigs didn't really like the raw eggs. This year's pigs loved them. I think all that stuff is really fun and enjoyable and rewarding. But I would say for me, the day that they go and Dan comes, it's like, man, I love Dan so much. And I love when he's here and joking around with them and having fun and making sure his coffee cup's always full. But when he drives up the driveway with that cooler van, it kind of feels like the Grim Reaper sometimes to me. Yeah. I watched the whole process. This year I got better at it. I just can't see the actual dispatch of them. It really bothers me. But I would say that's the hardest part for me. Yeah, it's a super emotionally draining day. I mean, I've posted this before on Instagram, so you've probably seen it if you follow us there. But the day of pig processing is it's physically draining, because you're carrying a lot of work. Doing a lot of work. You're carrying heavy loads of meat, and it's physically taxing. It always will be. But the mental aspect of it too is that you are taking an animal and you're taking its life, and you've raised that animal from a tiny little, 25-pound cute
piglet.
Little piglet.
Yeah, from the start, like we always say, this is food. We're very good at kind of separating that vibe and not getting attached, but it still weighs heavy on you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This one just came in. One just came in when I was checking it. Is there a certain breed of laying chicken that you prefer for this area of the country? Why and why not? Just we're in New England, if anybody doesn't know that. You know, typically we'll see a few days every year that are below 0 Fahrenheit. You know, we get down in a -10 is not unheard of. And then we have swing temperatures as well, where they'll swing high, you know, a couple days later. The biggest thing to look for around here, you want hardy birds that, you know, are well muscled. As far as combs go, you want rose combs or pea combs. You want smaller combed birds. You can have larger combed birds if your coop is built well. We've raised blue Andalusians, which have really large, big combs on them. Those birds do tend to suffer a little bit of frostbite each year.
But not too bad.
No, and the frostbite that they do have, it's just on the tips of their combs, and it tends to just little spots turn black and they fall off, and the comb regrows anyway over the summer. But breeds that are great for this area, New Hampshire Reds, obviously, you know, named after New Hampshire. Rhode Island Reds do great as well.
Barred Rocks.
Barred Rocks, you know, Barred Rocks have solid, you know, small combs. Wyandottes of pretty much any variety.
Yeah, they're very small. Yeah.
They're very hardy. They have very small combs. Orpingtons, buff Orpingtons, again, great.
My favorite.
Yep, Jackie's favorite birds. They're great tempered birds. They have relatively small combs. You know, any of those breeds, you can ask your local farm store what breeds they have, what breeds are best suited around here. Most farm stores won't bring in breeds that aren't suited for the area.
And we also really like low maintenance birds, so there's some really pretty birds that you can get that are, I mean, to be honest, they are attractive. They're really fuzzy ones, and the large combs can be really pretty as well. But I think the more birds you have, and if you want to keep your operation low maintenance, definitely think about that as well, because although they're attractive and they're pretty, they definitely can be higher maintenance. I would say the most unique bird that we have that is low maintenance is the Polish chicken that we have on our farm that we mentioned a little bit earlier.
We keep talking about the Polish. She's just...
hey, the day we don't have her, we'll be sad. We'll have to get another one, because they just are hilarious because they can't see well. And anybody that comes over that's never seen chickens, they're like, oh my gosh, what is that? So it's always the talk of the coop.
Yeah, she's definitely the most popular one to people that don't have chickens.
Yeah.
So... But, I mean, safe bets, your buff Orpingtons, your Wyandottes. You don't have to be buff Orpingtons, any color Orpington.
Right. We just like the caramel color.
Yeah, Orpingtons, Wyandottes, Rhode Island Reds, New Hampshire Reds. All those birds, you know, are pretty solid, and they'd be a great choice. That's it.
That's
all we got for questions.
This was fun.
Yeah, I like doing this. Let's do this more often, guys. Maybe we'll turn this into like a once-a-month thing. Leave your questions down below in the comment section. I'll pull through them and see what we got, and maybe we'll do another video in another 4 weeks or so.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
Take care.
Bye.